In this lesson, we're going to be using AutoCAD to create the rocker arm design. So take a look at this. There's a lot going on here, but we essentially have some circles that we're going to be making and then joining them. So what we'll do then is go ahead and make sure that you look at the drawing. It's in metric, so you need to type in startup and then hit 1. And then you need to close AutoCAD, and this is really the only way to go from imperial to metric. And once you do that, you're going to reopen AutoCAD, and you should see a menu. Now the nice thing is if you do this at home, and go ahead and select metric. If you do this on a home computer, not in a network, usually it'll do it every single time, so you can do this. So then you make sure in metric. Again, if it's not in metric from the start, you can't convert it. It just never works. But let's go ahead and look at these circles. So we have some circles, and of course I always like to start at 0, 0. That gives me a reference. So I'm going to go ahead and circle, and then this time I'm going to go to circle radius. And I'll start with 0, 0. And then for this center part, I'm going to type in the radius is 50. So I'll type in 50 for the radius and push enter. And then I need to get this to scale here, so I'm going to make sure I have this cube here and select the top, and that kind of centers everything for me. And so I have to make 2 other circles here. So first thing I want to do is just verify what I'm doing. And you're going to notice that when you're using the metric, sometimes it defaults to this very strange looking dimension, and this is accurate. But what I'll do is I'll go here to Format, and I'll select the Dimension Style Manager. And if you modify this, this is where in advance you can do it. So I'm going to go to horizontal here and then centered, and you should see it preview it in advance. All right, and so you can also remove the draw between end lines in the fit, and you should see that there. So I'll show you in the next part how to do this in advance, but let's just go now. It'll do this from this point forward. All right, so then go ahead and select the radius, and I'll just remove this. And right now I'm verifying, but at the same time I want to just get my dimensions out of the way. All right, so now I'm going to add another circle here, and I'll do another circle radius. Remember, it's always circle radius if you don't know if you don't have a full circle. It's always going to be dimensioned that way. So I've got this one, the center is going to be over at 70 and then up at 40 millimeters. So I'll go ahead and type in 70, 40 for the center and push enter. And then this radius is going to be 25. So I'll go ahead and type in 25 for that radius. All right. So then the next part I want to do is I'm going to go minus, because this is on the X and Y. So I'll go ahead to my circle radius, and I'm going to type in minus X 50, and then Y will be minus 60. So I'll type in minus 50, comma, minus 60, enter. And then for this radius, it's 25. So I'll type in 25 and push enter. All right. So now the challenging thing is I have to join these together and somehow get rid of all these lines. So what I'm going to do is the top is fairly straightforward, but what we're going to use is something called the tangent. And there's 2 ways of doing it. One is to go to the Tools, Toolbar, AutoCAD, and you'll see Object Snap. And that's very helpful to have on there. So you'll see, and so what you do here is essentially you go ahead and select the Line tool, then you select the Snap to Tangent, click that, and then select Snap to Tangent again. It can be a little tricky. So see how it didn't do it? So there it is. All right, and then I push escape. Now the other way of doing it without that menu bar is to type in line and then type in TAN, enter, and that automatically starts it on tangent, and then type in TAN again and select the second point on the other circle. Much easier way of doing it. Either way is fine, and then hit escape. Now the bottom is a little different. The bottom is not a straight line. It's actually a tangent radius is what we use here. Very helpful tool. So this is much easier. Then I'll just go ahead and select the tangent of the first circle, tangent of the second, and then it depends where your mouse is actually placed, where it goes. But what we'll go ahead and do is type in the radius of 50, and we'll push enter. 50. All right, and push enter. And then we'll essentially do the same thing on the bottom left one. We'll go to tangent, tangent, radius, select the radiuses on the circles, and then we'll type in, this one is 40. And you'll see it there. Now the cool thing is, if I go ahead and type in this magic word trim, T-R-I-M, and then push enter, what I do is I select everything. All right, from the right to the left, it selects everything, and then I simply just get rid of what I don't want. So you want to look at the drawing and get rid of things that you don't want. Now, if the lines are not touching, it will not work. So it's really imperative that these lines are touching. So once you get these removed, you've completed the first lesson for the rocker arm design.